So in this video, we're going to take a look at sentiment analysis. Now, sentiment analysis is nothing new. It's been around a while. In fact, it's one of the earliest forms of AI that was being applied to language because it was fairly easy to do because you could do it on small snippets of text like tweets and things like that. Well, it's evolved much beyond that now. You can use it on large corpuses of text, and that's what we're going to attempt to do with some of our examples today. But basically, we're just looking for some kind of sentiment in the text. So now there's two examples I'm going to do, and one of them is going to look at reviews for products, and the other one is going to look at some statements to look at their toxicity. So let's just go and look at the demos, and then we'll look at the code like we did in all our other videos, and we'll wrap up from there. So we're just going to look at some Amazon reviews for this one, and I'm just going to look for, is it a positive or negative review, and this is going to give me a score for it. So for this, I have a page pulled up. I'm using this phone right here. I guess it's just a random thing that popped up on Amazon, so I just kind of picked it, and let's grab some reviews and let's see what they look like. So let's drop this one in here. This is obviously a positive review, so it should get a pretty high score. Positive review, yeah, that's what I expected. And this one right here, let's see what this one says. This one looks pretty positive too. Camera and battery, everything's great, and yeah, it's getting the exact same scores. So what we can get from there, see what this one does. Overall, process is good and so on. This one says it's kind of a negative review, and that might be because it's I had some concerns that I sent into the USA for models. For example, the charger was not from the USA, but the weight is very good. So it's slightly negative, I guess, but still showed up as a positive review on Amazon. So interesting there. In any case, let's look at some of the one-star reviews here. Over here, let's go over to one-star reviews and just see what this is going to give me. And this is obviously a bad review. This is the worst phone I've ever had, and very negative score there. And let's see if there's another like negative one here that I could kind of swipe and see if there is an English review here. This one looks like a negative review. Drop it in, and yeah, slightly lower score, but yeah, it's a critical review. So different output, and that's what we expect. And one of them was kind of in between, but wasn't sure if it was positive, although it said it was a positive review. The language said otherwise. Well, that's for doing reviews, just kind of thumbs up, thumbs down, negative or positive with a relative score there. The next one we'll look at is toxicity analysis, and this is kind of an interesting way. It's basically a text classifier where we're looking for toxicity of a particular piece of text. And it's basically going to classify it as some kind of text. So I'm just going to type in a classic insult from the Princess Bride, you warthog faced buffoon, and see what it analyzes here. And identity attack, no, it is an insult, and it's not obscene. It's not a severe topic or sexually explicit or a threat, but it is an insult. And so that is an insult from the movie. It's just showing you that it's able to detect it as an insult. And so because it had some kind of toxicity, it does show up as toxic language. If any of these are true, then it's toxic. So you could put other things in there, but for to keep this PG, I'm not going to, but using a insult from a classic movie is probably not going to offend too many people. In any case, it's just showing you that it does have the ability to detect this kind of thing. So if you're doing some kind of text analysis in the browser, this one might be a good one to detect people that are trying to be abrasive or things like that and prevent from sending or something like that. I don't know. There might be some uses for that. So both of these are different kinds of sentiment analysis. So you could use them in different ways, but there are certainly other ways to use sentiment analysis as well. Different models will do different things, but this is doing toxicity. The other one was just doing negative or positive. So let's go look at the code for these and just see how they work. So this is the code for the first one where we're looking at Amazon reviews, and this one is using Transformers.js. So I'm wiring up Transformers.js. There's where it's kind of wiring up the HTML elements, and it's loading the model right here. Which is basically loading up. It's using Distilbert, which is a basically compacted version of the BERT model, which is a very popular model for doing a lot of natural language processing tasks. And it's fine-tuned for sentiment analysis on English, meaning that it's single language and it's been compacted. So it's a very small and efficient model. If you needed multi-language support, of course, that's not going to work. So you'd have to consider that for your app. But this one works fine for doing the kind of thing I'm doing. And then once I have the model loaded up, it's pretty much just send the text in. So you come down here, you go to call the sentiment analyzer, which I wired up above, and pass in the text, and it gets back some results. And then I'm just displaying those right here. And that just writes it out to the browser screen, and you can see what the sentiment is and the relative score for it. Now, this one is pretty much the same kind of thing. It's using TensorFlow.js. There is a toxicity model that you can use with Transformers as well. Both of them work pretty much the same way, though. In fact, I think they're using the same model even. This one loads it up, and this one is wiring up some HTML controls down here. And it's getting the model and wiring up some HTML controls, loading the model, and then it's whenever you do the sentiment analysis, it just grabs the text, passes that into the predictions, which basically is a classifier for that, and then it's going to tell you what kind of toxicity it might be, and then it displays those in the browser, and then waits for you to put some more text in, and until then, you can continue to do that until your heart's content. Now, sentiment analysis definitely has some use cases for user input, and also if you have some kind of filters that you want to apply, so you want to prevent things from getting submitted. It's useful for that kind of thing. You want to prevent kind of nasty behavior, insults, kind of character smears, those kinds of text from people that might be inputting text into a freeform field. You can do analysis on that, or you can use it for different kinds of classifiers. Now I'm using pre-trained models here, but you can actually build your own and build some classifiers for doing different kinds of things depending on what it is your application desires. But sentiment analysis is just basically an implementation of classification models, and it's just one way of applying this to natural language. So we're going to look at some other natural language models and use cases as well in some other videos, but this one, as always, I'll link it in the video description down below for the code. You can check that out. And as always, thanks for watching, and hope to see you on future videos.
If you like this content, please consider subscribing to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button. You can also like this content by clicking on the thumbs up, or share this content with your friends, and also comment in the comment section down below. You can also find me online at www.blaze.net or on Twitter at @TheOneMule. And as always, thanks for watching.